So, because we're at the High School of Art and Design,
Yes.
which is one of the best schools in New York City.
All right.
And Max, the students who are here, they wanted to showcase their amazing talents.
Really?
Right, so throughout the conversation, they all wanted to present you
Come on.
with the gift because they were drawing and sketching you the whole time. And let's see what we got.
Woo!
Love it.
Wow.
Well done. Well done.
Wow.
Well done.
Both
Super
me-
talented. High School of Art and
That
Design.
is incredible.
We love it.
Are
That's
you
super
kidding me? Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Wow.
Give them a round of applause. Everybody. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
How cool is this?
Very cool. Very cool.
Begging for forgiveness for something I
Have some questions from the audience. So I know we have 2 mics that are going to be floating, and I want to open it up so we can have any questions for the Chancellor or myself.
I'm Saray Brown from the High School of Fashion Industries. I'm a senior, you know, yay.
Shout out Fashion Industries.
My question is really because I know usually when you talk about your passion, it should come quick in like certain instances of like trying to find it. But for you personally, what was your hardest part of your journey to actually like find your passion? Or just was there any types of moments where you felt like I just want to give up, I can't do it no more, even though it's your passion? If that makes sense.
That's a great question, and I think that's one we should both answer.
Sure, I'll let you go first.
Let me say, when I was a little kid, younger than you, my teachers and people around me would always say, "You're going to be an excellent lawyer one day." I like to write. I was a pretty good writer, but I like to argue. I like to debate, and I wasn't afraid to like get up in front of people and talk about what I believed and make my argument about something. So when I was in elementary school, people used to tell me that you're gonna be a lawyer one day. So that kind of got into my head. That I said I'm gonna be a lawyer one day, and I had that in my head all the way up until my senior year of high school. You're a senior now. My senior year, I switched my thinking and I decided to become, when I went to college, an engineering major. And the reason I did that was because I was also a good math and science student. I was actually a good student. I liked school. I did well in school. And I remember people telling me, you know, you can make a lot of money in engineering. If you got a good math background. I took advanced placement calculus. Like I was taking all the top classes, and there were very few black students that were even in my classes. And I started having people in my ear saying, you could do really, really well. Which, by the way, you know what really well was back then?
What's that?
You come out, when you graduate from high school, you can make $40,000.
That's a whole lot of money.
That's what I remember thinking, like $40,000? I'm gonna be an engineer. And I decided when I went to college, I applied, I was an engineering major. And I was an engineering major for 2 years. And I was absolutely miserable. Miserable. Yeah. And I remember being in a geometronics class. You don't even know what that is. And I'm sitting in the back of this class one day, and I'm in the middle of this project with a couple other students in the class. And I remember sitting there, and I'm working on this project, and I'm saying to myself, I remember like it was yesterday, like, what am I doing? I don't even like this stuff.
Yeah.
And I knew for a while that I really didn't like it. But I had never failed at anything that I had done in school, but I was not doing well. And what kept me in it for a little while was a sense of I wanted my parents to be really proud of me. And I remember the day that they dropped me off to school in front of the building of the College of Engineering, and my dad saying how proud he was. And I remember thinking, like, I don't want to go back and say I couldn't cut it, I didn't like this. One day I ran into a guy named Randy Harris. He was an older student. He had been in the Army, and he left the Army, he came back into school, so he was older than everybody else. And it was raining outside of the student center. And I got off the bus, And I said, Randy, he said, how you doing, man? I said, I'm not doing so good. He said, what's the matter? I said, I'm in this engineering thing, and I don't think this is for me. I really don't like this, but you know, I would feel like if I was to shift my major now and start all over again, I would have wasted 2 years. And Randy said to me, and I'll never forget it again, it's one of those defining moments in my life.
Sure.
Randy Harris looked at me and said, man, whenever you learn from the experiences that you've gone through in life, you've never wasted your time. I'm telling you, it stopped raining, the sun came out. I was like, it was like a message from on high. In that moment, I felt released. I was like, I'm shifting my major. I'm going to major in political science. I'm going to go to law school, which is what I thought I was going to do all along. And I had to work like double time, overtime, triple time just to catch back up. And it wasn't a disappointment to my mom or my dad. My mom and dad were like, son, they don't care about engineering. We want you to be happy. We want to make sure that you are fulfilling your own purpose in life, whatever that is. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I felt so empowered. And I finished up. I left. I wound up going to law school. I became a lawyer, and then I wound up in education too. So you also never know, like when you're in the 9th, 10th, 11th grade, necessarily how the rest of your life is going to play out. I never dreamed when I was your age of being the chancellor of the New York City Public School. That never even entered my mind. But what you want to do with your education is to get the skills that you need that will allow you to do a whole host of things. Because your interests, talk about interests, your interests may change. But the passion, you can take that passion into a number of different arenas. But when you have that passion, you also want to have the skills
to support it.
So that door that you want to go through is not closed on you. You follow me? And so you, whatever it is that you desire in your heart, pursue that. But also make sure that you are continuing to develop your skills so that you have a wide range of opportunities to do any number of things, including things that you're not even thinking about today. Is that okay?
Great answer. Great answer. Great question, by the way. Great question.
Okay, so my name is Delisha.
What's your name?
Delisha.
What school are you from?
Rockaway Park.
Rockaway Park. That's what's up.
Ooh, this is my school. So my question is for both of y'all. I want to know, what is your affirmation?
My affirmation? I got it. You want me to take that one?
Yeah, you.
I got a good one for that one. So two things that I do as part of my routine that has been successful for me. That's actually I wrote in my book. So affirmations and mindfulness I think is critically important. So every day I wake up, I say 3 things that I'm grateful for. So for instance, let's take today. First, woke up and thank God for waking me up and taking care of my wife and my 2 beautiful kids, protecting them. Second, I was grateful to wake up and be able to go to work and do things that I love. There was a time in my life I hated waking up and going to work. Wow. I don't live that way anymore because I'm making my passion. I am the mascot for making your passion your paycheck, right? I am the mascot for Torrance Hampton in that. And the third, I was grateful for all of you and Chancellor Banks being here today, because as busy as he is to be here, we're super blessed. And those were my 3. So those are my 3 things I say I'm grateful for. My affirmation is every day when I wake up, I look in the mirror and I say this 3 times. There's nothing I cannot do, there's nothing I cannot be, there's nothing I cannot have. And I say it because it helps anchor my day, because then it makes me unstoppable because I know I'm doing the work that God has me to do in my divine flow. And there's nothing that can, so regardless of good, bad throughout the day, I'm anchored in that. I know where I'm going. That is my affirmation. Those are the things that I'm grateful for. That's how I start my day every single day.
That's very powerful. That's very powerful.
You, sir?
I would,
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mine is that to believe deeply in yourself and to know that you are unique to the universe. I tell young people all the time, if you just hold up with one hand and look at your palm print, right? I mean, how often do we do that? We wash our hands and one, but just look at me. If you look at your palm print, and this is not just for the kids, this is for everybody that's in here. You think about this. There is nobody else that has the same exact palm print as you. It's your unique stamp. In the history of the world, there's never been anybody else who's had the same palm print as you. There are people who look like you, they sound like you. You know, people come over to you and say, I met this girl, she's your twin. We've all heard that at some point in our lives, right? Well, they may look like you, but they're not you. There has never been another you. From the time you came here, they broke the mold. You are absolutely unique to the whole universe. Think about that. There's never been another you, and there never will be once you're gone. So you're in your uniqueness. You are here for a reason. That's what connects so much to what Brother Torrance is talking about. Finding your purpose, your passion. Why are you here? What are you meant to do in this world? There's nothing more empowering than when you find that out. That's why people say to me all the time, you're the chancellor of New York City schools. Oh my God, that's gotta be like the hardest job in the world. It is not. Because I love it. When you love something that you do, I can't wait to get up in the morning.
Exactly.
I don't even want to go to sleep at night. Sometimes I do, but it's this idea that like every day you come up with new ideas. You meet people who'll tell you something like, we could do that. We can make that happen. I meet people all the time who want to help do new and amazing things. Let me leave you with one other thing. It's a great little story. I met recently a guy named Jimmy IV. Anybody ever hear that name? He's a music guy, producer, behind the scenes with a lot of people. He worked with Dr. Dre, and they created the Beats headphones. Talking about a guy fulfilling his purpose, finding his passion, and became a billionaire. Him and Dr. Dre. And he met Dre earlier on in his career and helped him in his career. He's an amazing guy. I had met him a while ago. Anyway, they started their own college at part of the University of Southern California. And now they've created a high school in Los Angeles that is around kind of what we're talking, a very reimagined school experience. It's a design thinking, product development, the kinds of things that kids are like deeply interested in. They designed their whole school around that concept. It's very different than almost any other school that you're gonna see in New York City. They wanna come to New York. So they wanted to meet with me, and I met with him virtually. He's in Los Angeles, he's in his house. You can see his backdrop, he's in his mansion, and he's got the mountains in the background. It's just beautiful, right? And we're talking, he's got his team, I got a couple of people with me, we're having this great conversation. And I was convinced, I said, we're gonna help create that kind of school in New York. He said, we want you to come to Los Angeles. You gotta come and see what we're doing out here. And then at the end of the conversation, guess what happened? He's on there, he starts talking to somebody on the side. He said, you gotta come to the camera, you gotta meet. This is David Banks, he's the head of the schools in New York. And who comes and sits on the couch next to Jimmy IV? Snoop Dogg. And he was Snoop. Like he was like, what's up, baby? What's going on? When you're coming out to LA, you gotta come hang with us, baby. Tell me what you need, what we gonna do. I'm like, is this really happening?
Hey.
5 seconds later, who else? He said, here's the other third musketeer. They were coming over for a minute. Here's Dr. Dre. Sitting on now it's Dr. Dre, Snoop, and Jimmy Happy all sitting on the couch on the Zoom saying, when are you coming to LA so you can see what we're doing? We want to come to New York. We want to help build out this thing. We think it's going to be the greatest thing that education has ever seen, particularly at the high school level. So let us know how we're going to do it. So needless to say, I'm going to Los Angeles like another week. But my point is that what I do almost on a daily basis is so interesting. That's just one example of like 1,000 of interesting, smart people, students that I meet who tell me amazing things. It is a great job. And that's why I feel like I'm not even working, because it's amazing. And imagine if you have a job like that, where every day you can't wait to get up in the morning to go to work. That's what Torrance is talking about. Once you figure out what it is that you really want to do, it's game over.
Game, set, match.
That's right.
Game, set, match. You got to get ready. Do we have one more question before we go?
I lost my voice, but I think I can. Okay.
You sound good enough to me.
Thank you. Okay. So is there any program or initiative to help connect our low-income or disadvantaged students to schools like the Ivies, HBCUs, or other private institutions? Not that those are the only institutions that can help bridge our economic gaps or industry gaps, but the exposure is integral to help our students and children get into rooms where systematic change can happen. So is that something that you're working on? And if not, I think that's something that like other students and I can help make happen.
Wow.
It's a fantastic question. Great. Give a round of applause. It's a
really
fantastic question. Fantastic question.
Imagine if she had her voice.
Yeah. Fantastic question.
Yeah, I think that that's a huge body of work that we are trying to be engaged in. That's a big part of what I was doing before I even became the chancellor. That level of connection to those opportunities. College, we talk to kids all the time, Aaron, right, about going to college, and then we don't put kids on the trajectory to go to college, or even do simple things like take them to visit a college. So at Eagle, that's what we used to do all the time. Our kids from the 9th grade through the 12th grade, or the 6th grade through the 12th grade, they visited like dozens of colleges. So for many of them, it wasn't even a matter if they were going, it was just a matter of which one they were gonna go to, because they had so much exposure to college. And I've been doing that really since I was a teacher. I remember when I was a first-year teacher, and I would talk to, I was not that old, I was only like 21, 22 years old. And I remember talking to our kids, Torrance, and they were saying, I was talking to them about when I was in school, in college. I had recently gotten out of school. And I realized, like, these kids had never even visited college. We talked to them about it, but they don't know really what that means. And so I went to the principal, she gave me money. We took a bus. And every year that I was teaching, we would take dozens of kids to visit my college. I went to Rutgers University in New Jersey, and I didn't need a tour guide, right? Like, I knew the campus, I took them all around. They were going to the dorms, they were going to the student center, they would go to the classrooms. It was so exciting for the kids. And all throughout the year, the kids would write in their various compositions and their stories. And when I get older and I go to Rutgers University, and for me, it wasn't even about when they go to Rutgers, it was just the fact that we had planted the seed in their mind and we made it manifest, because it wasn't just an idea, it was something real. So we do a number of those things in our schools. We have to do more of it across the system. Do you have any idea how many schools we have in New York City? Anybody have any idea what a lot means? It's close to 2,000, over 1,800 schools. It's a lot of schools.
A lot of schools.
Right? So you can see some wonderful, phenomenal, amazing things that are happening in one school, and on the other side of town, they're not doing anything like that. That's the challenge that I have, to ensure that more schools are getting the good stuff. When you go to a school like this, you're getting access to good stuff, right? When you go to Harbor School, you're getting access to good stuff. No school may be giving you everything, but you're getting good stuff. And you talk about career pathways. I mean, the Harbor School, when I visited the school, I was riding around in the boat, they're doing rescues in the middle of the river.
I got a story. Last question, then we're gonna go down, because I got a presentation, I got a gift for you. So the Harbor School, shout out who's part of the book club. Devere Hanson's here, who's leading and brought the students, and give him a round of applause. Yes. So the first time I go, I'm at the Brooklyn Steam Center.
Right.
And he says, I'm gonna come pick you up.
Right.
What are you talking about, you gonna pick me up? He said, we're gonna bring a boat. I was like, I just take the ferry. So they bring the boat over.
Right.
And then here, Chancellor, they let me drive the boat.
No.
What? In the East River?
Right.
Dude, I'm about that life.
Did you?
I'm about that life. It was amazing. So Devere's like, T, you want to drive back? I was like, yes. You got that right. So I drove going and coming. It was amazing. But the fact that is how we get to school, and that's a school on an island, and the Statue of Liberty's here, Brooklyn's here, Manhattan. Dude, it's
only a handful of students in New York City schools have ever even been to Governor's Island.
100%.
Right?
It's amazing. It was amazing.
So just to even be there and have that experience, I know it may not be the best experience in the middle of the winter, but listen, you got to take, right?
It's all good.
That's right. You make it work.
It's all good. Last question, then we got to go, because he's got to hop. Last one.
I'm Rita. I go to the Harbor School, and my question is, as we push for the success of CTE schools, how do we make sure that we're not pressuring students and putting them into industries that they're not passionate about?
It's a great question.
Great question. Great question. Great question.
Yeah, no. I think we've got to be very intentional around allowing a level of school choice and student choice, so that you can figure out, because you may go to a school and you thought when you were 14, this is what you wanted to do. And by the time you're 15 and a half, you've changed your mind completely. And so we've got to afford you the opportunity to shift, because young people, that's what it means to be a young person. You shift and you change. And so there's a lot of work that we have to do. And I'm actually less focused just on like CTE schools per se, and more like CTE experiences that I want kids to be able to have. So I want them to have the level of exposure to this industry and that industry, multiple industries, because sometimes you're not desirous of something because you've never even been exposed to it. Think about Tiger Woods became this great golfer because his dad put that club in his hand. If his father never put a golf club in his hand, the world might have been denied to see the greatness of this great golfer. So somebody has to provide opportunity and exposure. That is what drives interest and your own awakening. And then your own internal passion will take over and you'll drive from there. As chancellor, I have to figure out how to create more of that level of exposure for kids and for adults. Because adults can help you drive there if they also are aware. When they're not aware, they can't play a significant role in helping you to get where you're trying to get to as well. Just because somebody's your teacher doesn't mean that they are all-knowing. They have to continue to be lifelong learners and to grow and to be exposed themselves and to have their own adult aha moments. Because when they have it, they can help to translate that for you as well. That's what I hope for the system, and that's what I'm going to be doing everything I can to work toward.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chancellor David Banks, please give him a round of applause.